Hey, my beautiful people, welcome back to another episode of Selfish Therapy. If this is your first time, I'm your host, Ray, and on this channel, we talk about any and everything self therapy. So if you're not ready to do the work, this may not be the channel for you. I want to say a big thank you to my returning viewers. I appreciate you guys so much for helping me to grow my channel and to spread the little bit of knowledge that I have. All right, guys, but with that said, without further ado, let's jump right into the video. So guys, let's just get right into it. Today we're going to be talking about a few dating challenges that we experience now. So if you're a single person that desires dating or desires marriage, obviously it starts at the dating stage, getting to know the person, whether that's calling, texting, hanging out, whatever it is. But we want to talk about some of the challenges that we experience or that is most challenging now, especially from a single woman's point of view. So the first one I want to jump into is ghosting. What is ghosting? Ghosting is you have connected with a person. Maybe you guys were texting or calling, making some kind of arrangements, and you thought you made this connection with this person. And then all of that just stops. They stop calling, they stop texting, they stop responding to your messages. That's ghosting. When you just stop everything, all communication without any explanation. What that does is it could lead to confusion. And I want to say this, Matthew 5 verse 37, it kind of tells you how, how important it is to let your yeses be yeses and your nos be nos, right? I feel like the enemy likes confusion, and a person that does not know how to even leave a situation with clarity, I just don't think that person was sent. It's the games for me, right? And so ghosting is one of those things. So I just say it just shows what type of person you are. If I feel like if you are communicating with somebody and then you had a change of heart, I don't see anything wrong with you. The respectful thing to do is to say, hey, I'm no longer interested. I'm not feeling that way, but nice to meet you. Or maybe not nice to meet you. But at least that the other person would fully understand that this is where it is. Don't have any expectation. Just disappearing, it kind of shows your character and what type of integrity you have. So ghosting is one of the challenges in today's dating world. Number 2, lack of clarity. I've mentioned this before in one of my videos, where that's a clear sign. If somebody is not giving you clarity of what is it they're looking for, what their expectations are, what do you expect out of what we're doing now, then to me that's a waste of time. Healthy relationships thrive on clear, respectful communication. Where in 1 Corinthians 14 verse 33 says, for God is not a God of confusion, but of peace. Straight up, we don't need to go into any deeper details where that is concerned, but that is just to show you anything outside of clarity is just not from God, because God is not a God of confusion. He doesn't leave you confused, right? So that is number 2. Now let's move on to number 3. Number 3 is, especially if you are more like on the old-fashioned side, or you're somewhere between the Gen Z and the millennial, dating to you is a little bit different and a little bit more difficult. Right? The over-reliance on apps. We are in a day and a season and a time where everything is pretty much digital, right? And I think it takes out the human side of it. It takes away from people truly getting that interaction, that human interaction up front, understanding, feeling people's energy, understanding what you're dealing with. It's very easy to hide behind social media, to hide behind a digital platform. And so I think it's kind of harder. So a lot of people rely on digital applications like dating sites, and it's not to say that you can't meet somebody on a dating site, but it's my opinion, guys. I just feel like it's the chances of meeting somebody that's genuine and serious and real and is on the same page and want the same things that you want, it's very slim to none. Not to say that it's impossible, but I think it's very slim because it gives room for the gamers. You're not serious, but you just want to engage in maybe a midlife crisis. I don't know what's happening, but just saying, to me, it's too impersonal. And I feel like having that natural connection, and even if you meet on an application or a digital app, like how long does it take you to know if you've connected with a person, right? And so it takes away the human side of it by just, you're just swiping. Oh, you see a person, you look at the physical aspect of a person, or you may read a little snippet of a bio and say, hey, this is a person, and you just swipe. You don't get to know that person. You want to make sure that you're being very intentional with your time and the energy that you spend with others. All right. Number 4, let's talk about fear of vulnerability. Everybody has experienced something at some point, and especially if you're a single person, chances are you have dated before, or even if you haven't dated before, just your interaction with people, you may have experienced some kind of hurt in the past that makes you approach dating or approach meeting new people with a wall up. I know, right? With a wall up. And so because of that fear, it's easy for you to doubt, like, what is this person's intention? And a lot of the times you're not so quick to be open to say, hey, let's give this person a chance, because you're fearful of the games or the lies or somebody hurting you again, right? You tend to avoid emotional connections, especially up front, and that could look like, to a person that's ready for what you are, that could also look like, okay, you are not ready for that, you're being a wall, lack of interest, so many other things could come out of this. And 1 John 4 verse 18, it talks about perfect love casts out fear. So that tells you that God's love overpowers all, casts out fear. God's is not a God of fear or confusion. And so, leaning on that, and if somebody was sent by God, I believe that fear for you, feel that sense of comfort. So, but nevertheless, it's still challenging, right? It's still challenging getting to that place. All right, so next up we have number 5. Number 5 is unrealistic expectations. I think this happens in friendships, relationships, even for yourself sometimes. We set unrealistic expectations for all of our relationships, right? And I want to say the challenge with that is you idolize something that is not even real in the first place. We look at social media, we look at at a couple that's been thriving for years, and you automatically want that. Nothing is wrong with desiring what you think that is, but it's never a case where they have not gone through any challenges to get to where they are. So I think it's very unrealistic for you to start a relationship and expect it to be perfect, or you have this idea of a person that they're supposed to be, but you never really given them a chance, if that makes sense, right? And so I wanted to support that with 1 Samuel 16 verse 7. It says, do not look at his appearance. The Lord looks at the heart, right? So oftentimes we bypass that because we are looking for perfection rather than trying to get to know somebody's heart. And eventually that person could grow into who you want. So it's having these unrealistic expectations and expecting somebody to meet a specific goal or whatever box you are, to fit in a specific box that you have created in your mind. It's just not doable. And so you kind of keep yourself in a spot because you're looking for something that is just not there. It's not possible. Okay. Anyway, so moving on to number 6. Number 6 is we're living in a hookup culture. We're living in a culture that it's perfectly fine to be like, oh, we're nothing. We're just hooking up. We are friends with benefits. We cool. So you find that if you can do all those things, but just not put a title, and when I say put a title, I'm not saying, I don't mean the word title, I mean what it means, what's the intention behind this, then you find that people don't really want to commit. 1 Corinthians 6:18, where it talks about flee from sexual immorality. Your body is a temple of the Holy Spirit, right? And I said this before in one of my past videos, is how we are supposed to honor our bodies. Like, what are we doing? Honor our bodies in the sense of, be careful where what you're doing, because if somebody's serious about you, they will commit to you. It is that simple. If they are not, they'll string you along, make you feel like, oh, maybe not, and then you are just there. And if you allow them, they will take the chance. Them not no conscience, none, right? So I would say the hookup culture is one of the challenges for people that are serious about dating and desiring commitment. Next up, we have number 7, the paradox choice. Too many options. We have this mindset that because there's so many fishes in the sea, we don't necessarily have to settle for one. There's too much. And they say, why carry sand to the beach? Because there's so much, right? You can't run out of sand. And while there's a lot of people, what are you getting? Are you getting quality? Are you getting what you need? Are you getting somebody that God placed in your life, that God says you're supposed to have? So yes, we're not fighting to say there are many people, but stop thinking that, okay, I am going to pass upon this person, or I'm going to just hang on to the coattail of this person, but I'm not going to make a decision. Why? Because I have so many options, and I don't want to choose this person when maybe if I choose this person, this is the person I really want, but this person doesn't want me right now, so I'm going to hold on to this person until I get to that person. Sounds familiar? Too many options is a huge challenge, because everybody feels like, not everybody, but people feel as though they don't want to make a decision because they might be missing out on somebody else. And I just believe if your eyes somewhere else, then that's where you need to be. Okay. And so we talk about in Proverbs 3 verse 5 verse 6, it was talking about trust in the Lord with all your heart, and He will make your path straight. You want to seek God's guidance instead of relying on your own understanding. I understand that you are indecisive because you feel you're so fearful of making the wrong choice, but at the end of the day, you're just playing games. You have to make a choice and stick to it. That's it. Make a choice. Now, if you made that choice and it didn't work the way that you want, I understand. Then it was outside of your control. But I guarantee you, you will never know if you keep, you want to, let me just keep my options open. That's the problem. Number 8, we talked about pressures of society before, where when you date, you're so fearful of dating the wrong person because of all the things that has been thrown at you. You know, you need to be married, you need to have children, and then your husband need to be this, or your wife need to be this, or she need to have this and look like that. So you're trying to fit your life into this to this box that society or your family forced on you, right? And so when you are dating, you're looking for a specific type of person, or a person that fits their checkbox versus who you are supposed to have. And so just because you're feeling rushed in this moment, I just wanted to share Ecclesiastes 3 verse 1, where it says there is a time for everything. Right? There's a season for everything under the sun. Under the heavens. And I will say that to say is, do not be pressured by society. Do not feel like you have to hurry and get married and trying to race into something. Especially when you're dating, you meet a person and you start, the clock is ticking, I'm ready to go. No, let it be authentic as long as you're heading in the right direction. But forcing somebody that's not ready, or somebody is still trying to get to know you, is not the answer. It is not the way to go. God, everything happens in God's timing, and we have to trust that. All right. Next we have emotional burnout. Now, emotional burnout is one of those things where you have let people in, you try to get to know somebody, and then it didn't work out. And you have to go back to the drawing board, and you have to do it again. That's a pretty challenging one. I absolutely don't hate that one, and I think maybe that's one of the reasons why I may not be so quick or big on knowing somebody quickly, because I feel like for me, it's very challenging for me to get to know you, and share parts of me with you, and then it goes nowhere. I don't like that part of it, but it comes with the territory. And I would say that's one of the challenges that people that have been single for a minute experience every so often, where you don't want to waste your time. It's very sad. You don't want to waste your time, but you won't know unless you try. You just won't, right? But if you bring it to God in prayer, it says, "Come to me who are all he was weary and heavy laden, and I will give you rest." I think meeting God, going to God with whatever it is that's on your heart, it will meet you where you are. And the thing is also walking with God on this journey, I just believe that God will put the right people before you, where you're not trying to do things on your own and meeting these counterfeits and these people who are really not serious, and these people are sent by the enemy to come and play games in your face. If God sent that person, then I just feel like it kind of eliminates a lot of those uncomfortable emotional conversations with somebody that you wasn't even supposed to be there in the first place. So, and that was the Bible verse I was sharing with you, is Matthew 11, verse 28. God will always give you rest and renew your heart, you know what I mean? And just start seeking him, and just being open to being in solitude until God says, here you go, right? Anyways, and the last one we have on the list is misaligned intentions. You want to be very clear, upfront and straight. When you are dating a person, I don't think anything is wrong with finding out, even from the first conversation, what are your intentions? What are you looking for? Because one of the worst things that you want to get into is you spend all this time, you guys connect in a way, and then you find out later, after months of having this conversation, hanging out, thinking that you're going somewhere, is that one person is just not interested in marriage and you are. Or somebody, they're like, oh, I'm seeing other people, and you want commitment. The confusion, it's, again, there goes the enemy trying to mess something good. And everything else is right with this person, but the one thing is you want something else from that person. And what often happens in that case is sometimes people will say it up front, but one person always feels like the love will overpower what that person is asking for, or what that person told you. You feel like you could change the person. And I think that's a very big mistake, because while yes, there's a slim chance that that person may have a change of heart, you cannot say, if you get to a whole 2 years and that person is not asking you to marry, or you ask that person to marry and that person says no, you cannot blame it on that person because they told you, they said it to you. Because then now you can't handcuff them into something that they did not want in the first place, which they were very clear and upfront with you. Make sense? Okay, perfect. And then I just wanted to share with you the Bible verse. It says, do not be unequally yoked with unbelievers. And I know I always say that because that is really, it's a deeper topic, but I do think it goes with when you and a person are not not going in the same direction, have the same values, the same beliefs, that is unequally yoked. You don't want to get married to a person that you want children, they don't. You want marriage, they don't, right? They want to be, they're Christians, you are you know what I'm saying? You're Buddhist, whatever it is. You have to be very clear and upfront in what your values are, what you know what I mean, what your intentions are with this relationship or this partnership, because it will never work if you guys are in two completely different books heading two different directions. Make sense? Okay, perfect. All right, so with that said, guys, I think that's the last one that I have. I hope that you guys enjoyed it with me sharing with you 10 challenges of dating in today's world. It is not easy, especially if you've been single for some time, but I hope that you guys enjoyed it. If you have any that you'd like to share with me, please drop it in the comments. I would love to hear what your thoughts are and what your favorite parts are on this video, as well as if you have any comments, whether you agree or disagree with any of the challenges that I shared with you today. And if so, I'd love to hear it. With that said, guys, I'm going to love you guys and leave you until our next video. Stay blessed. God bless you. Bye.